In September 1979, an American defense satellite hovering over the dark waters of the South Atlantic Ocean detected the unmistakable twin flash of an unauthorized nuclear detonation. Within minutes, the White House scrambled a secret emergency task force, launching an aggressive political operation to erase the physical evidence of an atomic blast. This is the terrifying mystery of the Vela incident, a classified maritime forensic anomaly that military intelligence agencies spent decades trying to suppress from global history. We dissect the declassified data logs, the atmospheric fallout patterns, and the secret naval coordinates that elite politicians refuse to share with the world. The timeline locks in during the freezing tensions of the Cold War, a dangerous era where global superpowers signed treaties to strictly prohibit the atmospheric testing of nuclear weapons. To ensure compliance, the United States deployed a specialized orbital network known as the Vela satellites, engineered specifically to monitor the planet for illegal atomic explosions. These advanced spacecraft carried highly sensitive optical sensors called bong meters, instruments designed to pick up the intense light variations produced uniquely by a nuclear blast. On the early morning of September 22nd, Vela satellite number 3 was positioned over a remote expanse of ocean between Africa and the frozen coasts of Antarctica. At exactly 0051 GMT, the satellite's dual bong meters registered a sharp, massive spike in light intensity, followed instantly by a secondary, larger peak of energy. In the field of nuclear physics, this specific double flash signature is the absolute mathematical fingerprint of a high-yield atmospheric nuclear explosion. The first flash represents the initial shockwave tearing through the air, while the second flash captures the expanding fireball, heating the surrounding atmosphere to millions of degrees. Every single time a Vela satellite recorded a double flash profile in the past, 41 separate times to be exact, it was confirmed to be a real, physical atomic detonation. But this 40-second event was terrifyingly unique, because no country had claimed responsibility and no foreign government admitted to launching a weapon into that territory. The raw data was immediately transmitted to President Jimmy Carter, who realized that an unknown nation possessing clandestine nuclear strike capabilities would collapse global stability overnight. If a rogue government could execute an atomic test in absolute secrecy, it meant the international non-proliferation treaties were completely useless and unenforceable. Instead of launching a military investigation, the White House established a specialized panel of civilian scientists, led by prominent physics professor Jack Ruina. The strategic objective of this panel was not to find out who detonated the bomb, but to find a way to discredit the satellite's highly technical findings. After months of closed-door deliberations, the Ruina panel released their official public report, concluding that the satellite had likely suffered a mechanical malfunction. They claimed that a microscopic meteoroid had struck the outer casing of the satellite, shearing off a tiny piece of highly reflective aluminum insulation sheet. This floating debris supposedly drifted directly in front of the bong meter sensors, reflecting sunlight into the lens and artificially mimicking the shape of a nuclear explosion. To the mainstream media, the incident was closed, written off as a bizarre cosmic coincidence that required zero further scrutiny or public panic. However, declassified intelligence files from independent military organizations heavily contradict the government's convenient meteoroid explanation. Scientists at the Arecibo Ionospheric Observatory in Puerto Rico detected a massive, anomalous, traveling ionospheric wave rippling through the upper atmosphere during those exact hours. This localized atmospheric disturbance was tracking directly from the South Atlantic coordinates, moving at a speed that matches a high-altitude shockwave propagation. Furthermore, the United States Naval Research Laboratory conducted secret hydroacoustic tracking sweeps, scanning the deep ocean currents for underwater sonic signatures. Their underwater microphones, designed to listen for Soviet submarine activity, recorded a massive low-frequency acoustic rumble bouncing off the underwater shelves of the Prince Edward Islands. This physical data confirmed that a high-energy kinetic event had forcefully impacted the ocean surface, an anomaly that a tiny drifting piece of aluminum foil simply cannot produce. The forensic trail grew even more damning when independent researchers analyzed the thyroid glands of local sheep populations grazing in Western Australia. Laboratory testing on the animal tissues revealed significant traces of iodine-131, a highly toxic, short-lived radioactive isotope. produced strictly by nuclear fission. Wind vector patterns from late September 1979 proved that air currents had traveled directly from the South Atlantic blast site straight to the Australian pastures. With physical, acoustic, and biological evidence, mounting the question shifted from whether a bomb exploded to which nation possessed the audacity to pull the trigger. Declassified CIA briefs eventually pointed their tactical tracking vectors toward two specific nations, operating in absolute secrecy: Israel and South Africa. Documents show that South Africa had constructed a highly secure, deep-sea military testing infrastructure, while actively seeking to develop a localized deterrent force. Concurrently, naval logs noted that a small, highly secretive fleet of Israeli warships had conducted joint military exercises in the absolute remotest sectors of the South Atlantic. Independent analysts suggested the flash was a low-yield, tactical nuclear artillery shell fired into the atmosphere from a heavily modified naval gun platform. Both governments possessed the scientific capability and the urgent geopolitical motive to execute a joint nuclear tracking test, shielded by the dark storm clouds of the southern seas. But why did the United States government spend decades helping them cover it up, instead of enforcing immediate, severe international sanctions? If President Carter officially admitted that Israel or South Africa had tested a nuclear weapon, he would be forced by federal law to terminate all military and financial aid to those nations. This legislative action would instantly destabilize America's strategic alliances, fracturing their geopolitical control over the volatile Middle Eastern and African territories. To protect the broader defense architecture, the administration chose to blindfold the public, burying the satellite's warning under a mountain of redacted paperwork. The Vela satellite network was gradually retired, replaced by newer tracking arrays, but the raw data logs from September 22nd remain tightly sealed under security clearance. Interestingly, the Vela incident continues to echo through modern military intelligence circles as a masterclass in global information management. It proved that if a government controls the primary tracking sensors, they can effectively rewrite physical reality, transforming an atomic explosion into a minor technical glitch. Today, our skies are crowded with thousands of highly automated surveillance satellites, monitoring every single square meter of the planet's surface in real time. Yet, unexplained atmospheric flares, localized radiation spikes, and deep ocean seismic anomalies are routinely wiped from public mapping databases without explanation. The forbidden flash of 1979 was not the first time a global emergency was hidden from the population, and it certainly will not be the last. The files remain buried, while the radioactive dust from that silent explosion has long since settled into the deep, unmonitored layers of the Antarctic ice sheets. The true history of the Cold War is not written in the textbooks, but locked away in the dark vaults of orbital defense agencies, waiting for the truth to finally leak. Was the Vela flash a secret joint nuclear test hidden to protect international alliances? Or did the satellite witness an unknown atmospheric anomaly that science cannot explain? What do you think really happened? Share your theory in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you like this kind of video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep tracking the hidden truth. Only here on Forgotten Clues.